Hello, everybody. This is Henry Kramer, 605 Chaser. Welcome to the show. We got a couple of things that we want to go over with. Right now, we do have a live look at this radar here that is east of Independence, east of Waterloo. If I put a live radar on here, we do have the ticker going. We've got these storms kind of isolated, brewing up. It's already got quarter size hail expires 12:30 p.m. So another hour. So these things are moving at northeast at 30 miles per hour, quarter size hail. And eastern Buchanan County in northeastern Iowa, northeastern Benton County in eastern or east central Iowa, northern Delaware County in northeastern Iowa, northwestern Lynn County in east central Iowa. This was issued just moments ago before we went live. And I'm going to go ahead and take a quick peek here and see what we got as far as the update from the SPC, see if this is out yet. Feel free to go ahead and chat. If this is your first time joining us, make sure that you give a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel here. On TikTok, we also have, we're not streaming right now, but just be aware, for some reason or another, we don't have access to the chat in the YouTube lives. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but nonetheless, what we're expecting to have happen is continued development to happen later this afternoon. I'm waiting for the SPC to give us the go-ahead on the latest Storm Prediction Center outlook here. They should have that issued within probably the next 10 minutes here. So while we're doing the live. So I'm not going to show you that right now because obviously we want to give you the latest information. So here's an estimate of what this is going to possibly look like based on the HER weather model. We'll play this out here. The HER is having a little bit of a struggle showing this, but it starts to develop a bit here. One second. Yeah, the HER model 15Z is really saying this is going to be more westerly. So this is probably the initial development, and this is going to make it really stabilize, kind of like it did in eastern part of or central portions of Nebraska yesterday. But right now, again, we do have that severe thunderstorm warning. This is moving northeast at 30 miles per hour, quarter size hail, and this is going to end up continuing over to Edgewood, Manchester. You're in that. There they go, 11:34. They just issued that update for the Storm Prediction Center. So I'm just going to take a quick peek at that here. See if this has got it. Oh, let's refresh. Can't show you guys until it comes on the other here, so bear with me one moment. We don't have any mesoscale discussions. One second here. Oh, they did do an enhanced risk. Hold on. Why is that? They they did introduce an enhanced risk, as I suspected, and that is over in this vicinity, generally speaking. Again, I've got to wait for that to load in here. Let's see if they have it loaded on Radar Omega. Nope, they do not yet. So waiting for that to come through. Let me see if I can find another resource that might already have it updated here. One second. All right, so let me go ahead and show you guys this. Let me pull that up here one second. All right, so this is where we do have, this was updated just a moment ago. So this is the Iowa City, Ottumwa, Davenport, Burlington, Illinois. You guys got that enhanced risk now. As far as what we have for the tornado risks, goodness gracious, that tornado risk is further into that Davenport and Burlington, they introduced a 10 to 14% risk. I don't know why they did that. Uh, They're the experts, but in my opinion, I'm not sure. I'm not sure at this point. Let me go ahead and go back to Radar Omega and take a look at some of the models here. We'll take a look at the HER and see what it shows here. Significant tornado parameters. We'll show you that. Be 1 second. Her model's not showing any significant tornado parameters that suggest that they would need the 10% here. Let's take a look at the NAM. That was updated at 8 a.m. So let's look at that. Okay, that's why they're using the NAM. It's possible. We're looking at this. I mean, if you look at the NAM, they've got Davenport here with 2.4 and 2.4 here over in areas. So this would be why they outlined that area. So that's, you know, they're using the North American 3K model and going with that. Probably because it's a little bit more consistent, whereas the her model has a tendency to struggle sometimes with this. But I don't know. I we'll see what happens. Let's go ahead and do a composite reflective on the NAM 3K here. Again, this is a look at what 8 a.m. was, so I'm going to kind of move this along a little bit further. Let's see if it picks up on this 11 o'clock stuff. It really didn't pick up on that, so I don't know how it's going to play out here. Again, 4 o'clock, Des Moines area, Newton, I really think this is going to be where most of the risk for your tornadic activity is going to be. I really do believe. I don't see this coming through. Let's go ahead and take a look at satellite. Is there clearing? There is some clearing over by Burlington, but look at all this cloud cover we still have on the west side of this. We're going to need a lot more clearing to happen in this area and all of this in order for things to really come through. So let's see if everything is loaded now, but lots of cloud cover. If we look at the satellite imagery, we got lots of clearing down here in Missouri, Chicago area, got a lot of clearing. Let's go ahead and see if we can bring up a live radar here. Again, some storms really trying to develop here over in Ames, north of Des Moines area. Going to be a little tough. We're going to see more of that storm development down here by Winterset and Omaha area as we go through the afternoon hours. All right, let's see if the major outlooks are updated here. Nope, they have not. Let's go ahead and bring up Radar Omega again and see if finally loaded in. Nope, so I'm going to have to utilize the risk levels through here. So again, this area here, Davenport, Ottumwa, Iowa, you guys are under the gun for that 10 to 14% risk level for tornadic activity again today. Also, there's some other areas of concern. We also have that severe wind risk, and that's going to be areas of Cedar Rapids, Des Moines, Ottawa, Burlington, Lamoni. Areas of concern also into the northern and northeastern portions of Kansas for that wind threat. The hail threat isn't nearly as significant, but there still is that Iowa City, Ottawa, Burlington, Davenport, all those areas for that hail. Let's go ahead back to Radar Omega and take a look at the NAM 3K and see what it says for the most unstable cape. And let's take a look at that. This is going to show the energy levels that we have here, how much energy there is in the atmosphere. There's going to be plenty of energy. Look at this. This is going to be probably maxed out with the energy here. And this is a look at noontime. We got almost 5,000 joules per kilogram in all of these areas. Let's go ahead and take a look at the other factor here we need to look at is surface-based sin. How much capped atmosphere do we have? According to noontime hour, it looks like there's no cap really in this. The cap is pretty much gone. It's already eroded. Again, these are radar estimates. Let me go back to that. Sorry, I switched gears here. So as you can see, this cap right here, there's not really much going on here, but that's where that development is likely to continue to develop as we get into the afternoon hours. Once we get a little bit further into the afternoon, you start seeing more discrete supercells that are building even down north of Jefferson City, Missouri area. And then we're going to have these discrete supercells over here develop and push more eastward and more of a even southeastward direction. Let's go ahead and take a look at the updraft helicity. Here we go. All right, so the timing on this, again, max updraft helicity, 1 p.m. It looks like most of this development is going to be happening after 2 o'clock. You see some updraft right here near Winterset on the I-80 area, 314, 330. That's quite a big updraft. Again, let's take a look and see if they have that updated here yet. No, they still don't. But it would match up with where the tornado risk is. Kind of this area is where that 5% risk is. You guys can't see that really, I apologize. So this area here, that's where that 5% tornado risk is, between 5 and 9%. And then again, we have it right here. This is going to be a lot of updraft here, according to NAM3K. It just depends on which model ends up being accurate. This is also a possibility. These are probably the areas that are going to be most prone to big time hail right here as well. And that's a look at around 5 p.m. If we move this a look further here, once we get into after 6 p.m. time frame, we start to see that updraft and that hail and tornado risk increase here. Again, this is according to the NAM3K model. Let's go over to the HER model and see if that kind of pinpoints the same thing or not. All right, moving this right along here. See, this has got it more northerly around 5 p.m. This is showing max updraft over here in the northerly track. So if you would, could be some scattered areas where you could have that tornadic activity. Cedar Rapids, you guys are in the 5% risk for tornadic activity, and then further south, you're in that 10 to 14. So it just depends on which weather model comes true. And this makes it look a little bit more difficult. Total precip values here. This is the other thing that we have to be concerned about is there's a lot of rain that is expected in these areas. So between now and midnight, Here's some areas that could end up having some pretty heavy rain. You got the Fort Dodge area. You could end up, um, when this is all said and done, close to 7 inches of rain. Just northwest of Ames, Iowa, you could end up with 4 to 5 inches of rain. Southwest of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, you got 4 inches of rain possibility. Again, that's based on the HER. If we go out to midnight for the NAM 3K, let's take a look at that. Total precip values by the time we get to the midnight time frame. Is this is putting it a lot heavier. Holy smokes. We got nearly 8 inches of rainfall, 9, almost 10 inches of rainfall northeast of Mason City, south of Rochester, Minnesota. I mean, and then Marshalltown and Ames, you guys are going to be at major risk. We've already had plenty of saturated ground overnight with those storms that came through. So even Rockford, Illinois area, Kenosha, Milwaukee, you guys got some risks for major flash flooding as well. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and take a look. See if they have that updated yet. Yep, they finally updated it. All right, let me go ahead and pull this out here and then show you live radar here real quick. All right, so now they do have, here's the risks. Again, this is the 10% tornado hatched area, not hatched, I apologize, tornado risk area. In the yellow, Iowa City, Rockford, Illinois, Janesville, that would be in areas of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, you're in the 2%. But this brown, that is all the 5% risk. All the way over to Grand Rapids, Michigan, Lansing, Kalamazoo, and Jackson, South Bend, Indiana area, you got that 2% risk. Again, folks, I truly believe what's going to end up happening is if you're in this area, whoops, I got to draw that. Anyone in this area and points eastward, here's what I think is going to happen. It's going to become a wind event. 70 to 80 mile an hour winds, and then possibility of some hail in there and torrential rain. Torrential rain, lots of moisture. Let's go ahead and take a look at a live look at what the dew points are here. 1 second. We'll get those pulled up here with the detailed display here. So we already have 75-degree temperature, Anamosa, Iowa, 72-degree dew point. Waterloo, you're at 68-degree dew point, 72 for a temp. And the further west you go, of course, cooler temperatures, but still kind of muggy. Sioux Falls area, 78 degrees, and you got 67-degree dew point. But we're not expecting anything huge in those areas of Sioux Falls. That's all. This is all going to be eastward. Again, here is the enhanced risk. We're a 3 out of 5 level. Davenport, Ottawa, Centerville, Iowa, Kirksville, when you get into areas of Missouri. St. Joe, in Kansas City area, you're in that slight risk or a 2 out of 5. Chicago, Illinois, you're in the risk for a number of possibility of some tornadic activity, but more importantly, your wind risk and your hail risk and torrential downpours. That's going to be the big thing. We don't want to discount the areas over here by Cheyenne, Wyoming, and Denver and North Platte, although I do suspect these areas will likely be seeing a very limited type of risk. Let's move this along and show you with the HER model here. 1 second. As you can see, these areas here, the total precip values, nothing anywhere near what we're expecting in Iowa, but it's still, 2 to 3 inches of rainfall is definitely going to be plentiful. Again, I believe these areas here are going to have more of that wind risk. Let's pull that through here around 11 p.m. That's a look at 11 p.m. Where's that wind risk? Yeah, they do have that wind risk. And look at this. They introduced a 30% wind risk. Let me back this up a little bit and show you what the HER model is suggesting. Oh, yeah. This is why I don't want to chase this one. Look at that. Even east of Sioux Falls, we could have some crazy stuff late tonight. Worthington, Minnesota, Sioux City, probably this area right here. Let's take a look at the hail risk. That's what I would suspect would probably be a little bit of a hail risk there. Yeah, a little bit of a hail risk, nothing huge. They do have that marginal risk up in areas of southwest Minnesota, St. Cloud area. That's going to be that marginal risk. Could have some wind, 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts without a doubt. But the main event, that's going to be in Davenport, Des Moines, and then over into Chicago and eastward. So those are our main risks. And then for tomorrow, let's take a look and see what they have for tomorrow. We do end up having those risks shift even further eastward as Detroit will likely be under the gun for a possibility of some tornadic activity. If you look at the 2% risk that they have, Detroit, Indianapolis, Lansing, um, I do suspect that they'll probably have a very conditional threat there, depending on how late these storms are here. And they may end up having a very isolated risk of tornadoes in that area for tomorrow. If we move this along a little bit further on the HER model, we can only go to 4 a.m. Go to NAM 3K, we can see out a little bit farther to try to show you what that risk is going to potentially look like. Look at that wind. Oh my goodness gracious. That is why they have, that's why they got the huge wind threat. Look at that. All the way south of Rochester, Minnesota, and then impacting Cedar Rapids. This is going to be a big time wind event right here. It's going to develop this based on NAM 3K around 6 p.m. So here's the reason why I think that I think truly that 10 to 14% risk for tornadoes in Davenport area is really a little overdone because this is likely going to be a wind event. We're talking downdrafts and some big time downburst winds happening with this. I have not looked at the DL Cape, but um, this is going to be big time. Looking between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. And then even Kansas City is going to get into that wind event right there. By the time you get through 7, 9 p.m., it kind of scatters according to this weather model. And then once we get into tomorrow, see the NAMK is having a little struggle tomorrow, uh, getting that risk over here. So we'll see how it plays out. I think there's going to be a lot that is going to be conditional for tomorrow's threat. Even if we look into the 13th, there could be a possibility of some risks down here, but we aren't able to see that far out. Well, we can see day 3. Let's take a look at day 3. Yeah, it's going to be marginal, but they'll probably upgrade this over in St. Louis area, Cape Girardeau area. This will probably be upgraded to a slight risk for sure. All right. Well, I'm going to let you guys go. God bless. Stay safe, and we'll catch you on another live.